A miracle dish made from nothing, a soup so legendary that convinced an entire village to share their food without them even realizing it. Hi, my name is Bruno and this is Portugal's famous stone soup, a dish that starts with a rock and somehow ends in a rich meaty feast. And today we're making it the real way. No shortcuts, no skipping the stone, just pure flavor and maybe, just maybe, a lesson for a lot of us. Let's do it. A tired traveler arrives in a village, hungry and carrying nothing but a single stone. He asks for food, but the villagers? Oh no, we don't have anything to spare. Sounds familiar? Ever opened the fridge, stared at random ingredients and thought, yeah, I've got nothing. So just like the traveler, we're gonna start with nothing, which in this case means pig's ear, chorizos, red beans, and I know, that is a lot of nothing. First, the pork. I'm gonna use a mix of pork ear, pork feet, some smoked bacon and chorizo, because this soup is all about building layers of flavor. You could go fancy and use only lean cuts, but if you do that, you miss the whole point of the story. The traveler didn't walk into town with a prime rib. He had a rock. We work with what we've got. Now, the red bean. I'm using canned here, and all the liquid will help flavor our soup. Just like the traveler had to win over the villagers, one step at a time, this soup doesn't come together instantly. An onion and garlic, because even a clever trick needs a good setup. You can't just throw a rock in the water and expect people to believe it's soup. You need a little misdirection. And that's what the traveler did. And that's what we're doing, building something that little by little becomes undeniable. And just as a side note, this stone has been cleaned and boiled for 15 minutes to make sure there's no bacteria in it while I use it. Don't get fancy on me, you know you put worse things in your mouth. And now the moment where the trick begins. The traveler fills a pot with water and drops in the stone. Just water, just a rock, nothing else. The villagers laugh. This guy is crazy. What kind of idiot makes soup with a rock? Well, give it time. And at this point, the traveler's got a pot of boiling water with a rock in it. Not exactly appetizing. And the villagers, still watching, still skeptical. So he does what any great con artist, chef, would do. He improvises. This is coming along nicely, he says. But you know what would really take this to the next level? A little salt. And boom, just like that, the first villager cracks. Well, I do have a little salt, and now it's game on. Salt will do more than just season. It will wake up every other flavor in this soup. Suddenly, that water is tasting, well, like salt, but it's still not soup. But we'll get there. The traveler keeps tasting the water. He pauses, he ponders. Then, with the confidence of a Michelin star chef, he announces, this is so close, but a bay leaf, that would just bring it all together. And what do you know? The villagers just happen to have a few bay leaves lying around. Into the pot they go. And at this point, the villagers don't even realize what's happening. They think they're just watching a weird experiment, but really, they were being played. Then, just when they think they've seen it all, the traveler casually says, you know what would really make this incredible? Just a little chorizo. Nothing big, maybe just a slice or two. And now the dam breaks. Because you can say no to a traveler, you can say no to a rock, but you can't say no to a chorizo. And that's where the magic began to happen. The fat from the chorizo melts into the broth, turning our nothing soup into something rich and deep and actually worth eating. It's almost like the stone had nothing to do with it. If we add some aromatics, this would be even better. Wow, this is so close. If only there were just a little bit of pork in here. At this point, the villagers aren't just watching. They're invested. They want to see this work. They need to see this work. And just like that, what started as water and a rock now smells like the best damn soup this village has ever seen. Funny how that works. It's completely transformed. At this point, the villagers are starting to get suspicious. One of them looks at the pot, looks at the traveler, and probably starts doing some mental math like, hang on, this is just a soup. We just made our own dinner. Took them long enough, didn't it? Now we need to add one last thing. The ingredient that will bring everything together. Potatoes, because obviously we're in Portugal. Now this is where the soup will go from rich broth to a full meal. The potatoes soak up all that smoky, fatty goodness, making every bite hearty and satisfying. And just when you think it's done, do you know what would make this really sing? Beans. To give it a final touch, a bunch of fresh herbs will bring it all together. Boom, the final trick. This isn't just about the flavor, it's a power move, because now the villagers can't take their ingredients back. It's all in the pot. There is no going back. Congratulations everyone, you've been outplayed. And the best part, the traveler, he's not begging for food, he's not asking for a handout, he's sharing the soup. He ladles out the soup, offers it to the villagers, and they all sit down to eat. And guess what? It's delicious. At this point, someone's probably thinking, damn, I could have been eating this the whole time. And then, without a word, he picks up the stone, still whole, still untouched, and puts it back in his bag. Because obviously, it works so well, he'll need it for the next village. And this is what happens when people stop hoarding and start sharing. If you want to get fancy, just add a little bit of olive oil to the top. Because we're in Portugal, and if it doesn't have olive oil, is it even food? And here's the real kicker. The traveler, he never actually took anything from anyone. He just reminded them of what they already had. This soup wasn't made from nothing. It was made from a shift in mindset. And honestly, that's the real trick. And this is the Portuguese stone soup. The dish that teaches that sharing is the real secret ingredient. And no, the stone doesn't do anything. But if you ever want a free meal, now you know the playbook. But what if you turn something cheap into something incredible? I'll show you how to do that in this video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you there. Bye.